Hello friends, Koolio here and welcome back to the channel. Today guys, we're going to be talking about Lineage 2M. Now the game just officially launched earlier this morning and I've had the chance to play it for a couple of hours and I want to talk about it. Now this is a different style of a format where I kind of go through, explain some of the feelings that I have about the game and not really go too much as a deep dive video into the game itself, but talk about my overall experience playing Lineage 2M. Now if you guys enjoy this type of video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this coming in the future. So what we're going to do in this video is let's go ahead and break down my experience about it. Let's talk about the game itself and why I had such a serious problem trying to even enjoy the game and pretty much fell asleep playing it. So let's go ahead and actually talk about Lineage 2M first. What is this game? What's it all about? What can you expect playing it? Now the game is currently only available in Korea and is developed and published by NCSoft. Now this is sort of a mobile successor or spiritual successor, whatever you want to call it, a remake of the popular Lineage 2 game, and this is a different game from Lineage 2 Revolution. Now the game has the option for you to pick a specific class. I'm doing air quotes there, more like a weapon choice. Now they've got swords, they've got dual swords, dagger, staff, bow, and orb. And from what I could tell from my experience playing through the game, it looks like it may be possible to play different types of characters and be able to use different types of weapons, but I can't confirm that. Again, this game is only in Korean, so some of the stuff I may say may be incorrect. As well as some of the races that you can play in this game. You've got the human, you got the elf, the dark elf, orc, and dwarf. However, they are all gender locked. You can only play as a female elf, a male dark elf, a female orc, male orc, etc. As well, not all of the races can pick all of the different weapons. For example, the elf can play all of them, but the dwarf can only play 4 of them. Now let's go ahead and actually talk about my experience playing the game. This is a very heavy auto play game. If you're not a big fan of auto MMORPGs, you will probably not be a big fan of this game. Now, I sometimes have a problem with auto and MMORPGs. There are some games I feel like implement it quite well, where you can use it for simple daily tasks or grinding, and then other games where it's more manual, where you have the opportunity to actually immerse yourself in the game. You have to physically take over and get yourself through a lot of that grind. Now, this game is, again, like I said, very heavy on the auto gameplay, and the reason why I don't enjoy it in this game because the auto mechanic that this game has going for it is really terrible. Like, it's bad, guys. Like, the auto questing, the auto movement is not very good. For example, if you decide to click on the quest menu and your character is moving towards that destination, if there's anybody in your way or you're trying to get to a quest NPC, and this leads me to my first major problem with the game, along with the auto questing and auto pathing, is your character cannot go through other people's characters. So if there is a wall of other players in front of an NPC and you are auto pathing to there, your character will just get stuck behind somebody else, stuck in an animation, and won't actually get to the quest NPC, and then you've got to manually take over, move your character around the crowd till they get close enough to the NPC to be able to interact with dialogue or continue the questing. So that's one thing, is the fact that characters are physical, that they can't pass through each other. It's sort of a fundamental mechanic that I don't understand why they did it. I know in some of the older MMOs, and it's been a while since I've played Lineage 2, if that was the case where you couldn't move through other people, but this is supposed to be more of a modern take on it. That shouldn't have been something in this game. I don't really know if it has anything mechanically to do with combat or later stages with like PvP and stuff like that. It's just really frustrating because there's so many people trying to play the game right now that so many people get stuck auto-pathing to a destination that they can't complete their quests. The next thing is actually auto-pathing to the area where a NPC or mobs that you have to fight in order to continue your quest. Your character will auto-path to that specific direction. They'll get there and then they won't do anything. They'll just stand around or even not even get close to the location of where you need to go, but like a little bit away. At the same time, there's so many people playing right now, and this is kind of a little bit of a tip for anyone that wants to jump in and play it. I recommend playing a ranged class, because if you're playing a melee class, you're gonna be bumping into other people and your auto character won't be able to tag enemy units, be able to use them to progress your questing. It's frustrating. It's a basic MMO style of gameplay where you gotta have to like kind of fight over the resources. But again, that's an old take on MMOs. Modern MMOs, they don't really have that big of a problem with stuff like that. But again, I'm kind of getting off topic here. But when it comes to auto pathing, auto questing, when you get to the location and nothing happens, you actually have to manually click on auto combat to engage auto combat, and then your character will start attacking the monsters necessary for that specific quest. It's a little bit on the frustrating side when it comes to actually playing this game, where the convenience of auto gameplay for people that don't have the time to sit there and play the game have to constantly keep rechecking to make sure that the character is actually doing what they need to do and they're not stuck in some kind of wall. Now let's actually go ahead and talk about combat. Combat is, again, very interesting. In my level 20s of gameplay, I only ever obtained one new skill. I obtained some armor equipment. By the way, armor in this game does not change the look of your character. That's just a personal pet peeve of mine. I'm not saying that's a negative. Most games don't actually do that, but if a game does have that, I think it's great. Now, I only received one weapon throughout my whole gameplay experience as well, so I always felt like my character was kind of lacking behind and grinding kind of became a little bit more tedious, as well as the combat, because there's such a heavy focus on auto combat right now, and because there are so many people jumping in and playing the game, manual combat feels like a chore, which leads me into the next big thing that I wasn't particularly enjoying about the game, and that's the camera. Now, usually I don't really complain about cameras in MMORPGs because, you know, it's either top down or they actually place it in a good way. But this one, all the cameras just felt really clunky. And the one camera that I was actually particularly interested in, the one that's over the shoulder, is so low to the ground that it feels like everything just gets muddled on the screen. There's so much going on that you can't really see or enjoy the combat or the animations, as well as I was particularly interested in how they designed the UI. At first, I thought it looked really good, but then once you get into it, it feels really cluttered and kind of all over the place. And because of its different take on the UI element for mobile MMOs in particular, it just feels a little, I don't know, obstructive, whatever the word I'm thinking of. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the fact that the game's performance was really, really bad. I had it on max settings, which, to be honest, in particular, I didn't think it looked that good. But even then, like, it ran really poorly and it really, really overheated my phone. Now, that's something that can definitely be taken care of as the game continually progresses, as it's not being overloaded by so many players. It is launch day. I just want to remind you guys, it is launch day. There are going to be problems. There were really long queue times to actually get into this game, but a lot of that stuff is going to be fixed as the days roll on. My main complaint behind it is fundamental functions that they have in the game. For example, again, you can't walk through characters. The auto questing isn't that good. That can be fixed down the line. The game's performance, not good right now, can be fixed down the line. Overall, my impressions of the game were disappointing. It's basically your same auto MMO gameplay. Nothing really spectacular stood out to me in my few hours of playing it. But let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. Do you guys like the game? What do you like about the game? Was there something that I may have gotten wrong in the video? What do you not like about the game? What do you guys think about this video? So yeah, there you go. That's my take on Lineage 2M, a game that honestly disappointed me. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. Again, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more mobile MMOs, gameplays coming in the future. Okay, friends, I'll see you next time.